Like for you guys growing up, was it a big deal?
Yeah, it was always like an Italian American Day. It was a big deal. We used to watch the parade. But I'll tell you when it really was a big deal, when I was in prison, believe it or not, in prison, especially in federal prison on Columbus Day, they called it Italian American Day, and they had like events and they made a special meal, and it was like they celebrated it in jail. We celebrated being Italian. And in the street, yeah, it wasn't really like a festive day, but it was, it was more, it was like, we celebrated our heritage. My mother wouldn't cook like special meals or anything, but we would watch the parade, and, he was like one of our heroes, Columbus. Now today, he's, now it's a completely different story. I don't want to even get into it, how political it became, how, they hate him now, but, yeah, but it was a big Heritage Day. And like I said, it was funny because when I got to prison, that was the day that we had, that was the weekend we had Italian American festivals. So we would have people would come up and we would cook special meals, and we would have special visits, and in the state prison. Like I even have pictures somewhere of that day, Italian American Day. And I'll even give you one better. In the 70s, in 1979, talking about Columbus Day, I was in Arthur Kill Correctional Facility, and Columbus Day weekend, they had the Italian American Festival, and the warden asked us to put it together. He didn't realize what he was asking, so we put it together, and not only did we put it together, we had Jay and the Americans come and do a show. May he rest in peace. Now, he was a major rock and roll star back then. And we had the food catered in. My father had the food catered in. Ariola's Bakery, which was a famous bakery in East New York, sent us all Italian pastries that the warden called me in, and he was not happy. And I told him, to break his balls. I said, listen, next year, if I'm still here, next year, we're going to have Sinatra's going to come. He was like, he wasn't happy. Not only wasn't he happy, he didn't even, so Jay came and did a show for us. We had an Italian American festival. All the prisoners were there in the big yard, and my father was there, and we were all there. And the warden, it was the only festival the warden didn't come to. Because it was the only festival he didn't come to, because I don't know what he thought, like, I don't know why. It was probably a racial thing or whatever. He didn't like Italians, or he wasn't happy that he knew once he put his foot in his mouth that the mob was involved, and he couldn't tell us not to do it anymore, because now all the inmates were in on it, and they knew Jay was coming. Jay came to visit me before that with his wife, and all the COs were coming down asking him for his autograph and shit. He was in the visiting room. So that was Columbus Day weekend. I even have a picture, I think, somewhere of Jay on that visit. Jay and his wife, Kathy, and Alice, my wife, Alice, and myself in the visiting room when right before the show. Want to talk about Columbus Day?
My Columbus Day, all I remember as a kid, it was a day off. When I got older, the banks and the post office was closed. But like Anthony, some of my best Columbus Days were in jail. Although in like federal prison, they didn't do like they did in the state. They'd make like spaghetti and meatballs, and you almost Columbus didn't find America eating that.
Yeah, we cook for ourselves.
Yeah.